Thanks for listening. I'm just sharing some thoughts for fun. I'm not an expert in relationships. There's some links, some good people down below who are. I'm also not a theologian. I'm just sharing what I'm studying. Well, I'm a Christian. I was lucky enough to meet Jesus before doing all the Bible study. I had a strong sense of him as a child. And then I got introduced to him when my dad brought us to church. And we studied him out of the Bible in the parable of the two seekers and the kingdom of God in Matthew 13:44 to 46. I was a lucky stiff that stumbled across the pearl of great price as opposed to being an intellectual studier. I've been studying to see if my beliefs are trustworthy, if the Bible is trustworthy, because being a thinker is just as important as believing, worshiping with my mind, not just my heart. Although both are very important. I think it's harder if you come to God through comparative religions or some intellectual exercise, because you're getting opinions of what God's like and comparing them and treating it like a smorgasbord instead of going to the man, so to speak, himself. It's like asking 50 people what color Joe Schmo likes and getting their opinion of what they think he likes, instead of going to Joe Schmo himself. I believe that, like it says in the Old Testament in Genesis 3, God kept an angel with a sword to keep open the path of life. That God's kept the way open to himself, that he could reach out to us and make himself known. And I've been studying to see if the Bible is truly reliable, and I found it true. Even after all this time. Some people came to God that way through an intellectual exercise, and I'm glad of it. It's good for them. I was thinking about 2 Kings 5, 1 through 15. It's the story of Naaman. And this is really hard for him. Naaman he was a great warrior in battle. One of the king's favorite. He lived like a total powered life. He was like at the top of his game. I mean, the king was backing him. That's how favored he was. You know, he's got his war life together. He's got, all this money, all this fame. He's like a star quarterback on a team, and then suddenly he gets leprosy, this disease. You don't have time for that, right in the middle of the prime of life, got all this stuff going. And it's things like that that make it really hard, especially if you're used to doing things, and all of a sudden it's like hitting a brick wall. When we have areas of super strength or really successful in certain areas, sometimes we can have the illusion that we're in control of everything of all life. But then bad things happen, and it brings us back to reality that we're just human. We have frailties. Well, Naaman heard about a prophet in Israel that could heal him. He found the prophet, and instead of the prophet telling him to do some wonderful, heroic thing, he told him to go dip himself 7 times in the Jordan River. Some dirty, stinking river. And so it was a little bit humbling for him. He was pretty outraged when the prophet told him that. I mean, he's used to people lauding him and giving him fanfare and stuff. And the guy just gave him the simple message, to go heal him, to go bathe in a dirty river. And he's like, what the heck? In the end, however, he acknowledged his powerlessness and followed the instructions and recovered completely and received his healing. Yeah, it's like, it wasn't something that he could do for himself. He was used to doing all these things and having all these things in his life, and it was just something that he had to receive. And it's a good thing he did, because then he was able to connect to God. And that's what our life is like in God. It's not something we can do for ourselves. We have to receive it humbly. And then we have a connection with God. Life with God is not performance-based, it's grace-based, where we just receive it. Nothing we've done, nothing we've merited. Sorry about the quality of it. I just have simple equipment.